If you're one of my subscribers who really enjoys watching me fail and just struggle, then you're gonna love this video. I've had a hard time with it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Not long ago I was browsing the internet for various home accessories and just nice furniture and stuff, and I came across a website called decor.com, and it looked very fancy, very opulent, so I was intrigued. I was very intrigued with what they had to offer until I saw the prices. Yeah, some of the stuff on this website is ridiculously expensive. Some would say overpriced. So I thought today I would try and recreate these luxurious designer home accessories on a budget, DIY it, do it myself. See if I can get the same effect. Spoiler alert, I definitely won't. But it will be cheaper. So the first designer home accessory I'm going to try and recreate is this pencil holder, which is £195. It's just insane, a pencil holder. And it's the chocolate char green pencil cup. It says an thrilling addition to your desk space. The char green pencil cup is a beauty to behold. Opulently organised, delightful deskwear, luxury living. So for my budget version, I decided to make it out of cardboard, and I just drew some shapes out onto some cardboard and cut them out, obviously needing 4 sides and a base. And I wasn't sure what char green was, and I assume that's why it's so expensive, and apparently it's like an animal hide from like sharks and stuff. And I'm not sure whether this designer one is authentic animal hide or whether it's kind of like a fake synthetic char green. But I didn't want any animals to die making my pencil holder, so I bought some snake print fabric and just cut that to size and hot glued it to the cardboard. And obviously mine was looking a little bit rough, there were seams everywhere, it was a little bit messy, but I thought it's fine, we'll hide that in the corners, it's gonna be okay, this is gonna look good. So I just hot glued all those pieces together to construct my pencil holder. And I did indeed get the measurements wrong, so mine was a bit lopsided. And also mine was absolutely massive, which I didn't realise until I actually made it. It is so big, it's stupid. But I wasn't making it again, so it's just gonna have to do. And another fancy part of their pencil holder, which is why it costs so much money, is the fact that it's got a brass base. Now this is on a budget and brass is expensive, so I just decided to paint mine. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit carried away because I kept getting further and further down because my lines weren't matching up. I should have really measured, but it's fine, we'll just carry on. And I just put that to one side to let it dry. So here's the original pencil holder that cost £195, and here's my DIY version that cost £3.50. And yes, my pencil holder definitely isn't made as well as theirs. Like, look at that, oh dear. Look, it's just so slapdash and so half-arsed. And it's just massive as well, no pencils will fit in that. But if I had the choice of spending £3.50 on this, or £195 on their version, well, I wouldn't buy either of them, but I'd rather spend my money on this one. And you know, for £3.50, I could have done worse. I could have done better, but I could have done worse. I'm gonna put this on my shelf so I can put all my giant pencils inside it. I'm running out of space, I don't have anywhere to put stuff. I'll just put it on the floor. I'll find a space later. So moving on to the next luxury home accessory, and this is one I probably struggled with the most. Out of all of them, I had a really hard time with it. But it's a modern marble disc, coming in at £170. And to be fair, it does look quite nice. It's very fancy. It says organic touch, simple silhouette and neutral palette. Simple yet striking, the design works a circular silhouette. Embrace the rounded piece to bring beautiful simplicity to your space. Ugh, simplicity. Gross. So for my DIY version, I bought a regular metal cake pan, and obviously because I wanted the circle in the centre of it, I decided to hot glue a cup to the base of this metal pan. And yes, it's looking janky already, but you know, it gets worse. But that was fine, it stuck perfectly well. It was a little bit off-centered, but I didn't realise what was to come. And then I thought, deep down, Although this pan is a non-stick pan, what happens if the plaster, because I'm making it out of plaster, gets stuck in the pan and I can't get it out anymore? So I thought, just in case that happens, I'll Vaseline all the way around this cake tin, and then nothing can go wrong. Nothing bad can happen at all. So once my cake tin was all lubed up, I decided to use some silver grey mica powder just to try and get that marbled effect. And I just used a paintbrush and dabbled it onto the surface of this pan. And obviously because marble is really expensive, it just wasn't going to happen. So my DIY version is going to be made out of plaster of Paris. So I just mixed my bag of plaster of Paris up with some water and then poured it straight into the cake tin. It's as if I'm baking, which is why it went wrong. And I just put that to one side and let it set for a couple of days. So it was the moment of truth to see if I could get this plaster sculpture out of this cake tin. Oh no. Oh shit. Oh. Why? This was supposed to be easy. What do I do? Ah. What have I done? Right. Well, I don't know what to do now. What was the point of Vaseline in it? I'm gonna try and put it in hot water. One, out, yeah, get. Right, I might have to cut it out the pan. That metal's thicker than I thought. Come out. Come on, just come out. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, I feel like giving up. I don't know whether to just give up. I feel like I can't get it out. Ah, you're coming. I can feel you. I'm gonna give birth. You have to be coming out now. Come out. I'm sick of you now. What the f***? I can feel you coming out, man. I can feel you. You're so close. Get out, get out. Oh, thank God for that. Bloody hell. Oh, it looks awful. It looks horrendous. Ugh. All that effort for that. Oh my God. Oh, I hate my life. And yeah, it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. And it looked horrendous. It looked so bad. I was so upset. And I was actually close to just throwing it away and giving up and just saying this wasn't going to be part of it. I wasn't going to admit to it. But for some reason, I was feeling adventurous. I was ready to fight. I was gonna make it work. So although it looked an absolute mess, I decided to sand down the entire surface of this plaster disc to try and get it as smooth as I possibly could. And I think I've done a pretty decent job of rescuing it. I don't think it's looking too bad, but obviously I sanded all the mica powder off so it didn't have that marble texture anymore to it. So I had the bright idea of using some water paint, and I should have diluted my water paint a little bit better than I did, because now I'm just left with a giant black blob. And I continue and I try and rescue it and I try to do something with it, but at this point I am just sick of my life. But because I wanted this disc to have a nice surface to it, I took it outside and sprayed it with a glossy varnish. And this is what it looks like at the minute. And obviously, I haven't done a very good job of it, have I? Especially this bit here. This bit is where it's all gone wrong, as well as everything else. But that's not all, because obviously this marble disc rests on a stand. And I wasn't going to make a gold metal stand, because let's face it, at this stage, what's the point? So instead, I bought myself a little banana holder, and I think that, you know, it works just fine. And I'm hoping that this will rest on this banana stand and it'll support it and it won't fall over. I haven't tried this yet, so it might not work. All right, let's see if it's gonna survive. Please work, please. Ah, okay. Ah, so it does work. So we've got the original marble disc that comes in at £170, and we've got my DIY version, which came in at £17.10. And the reason it's so cheap is because I already had the plaster of Paris, otherwise it would have been way more expensive. And considering I got off to such a bad start, I think I've rescued it. I don't think I've done too bad, and I'm still happy-ish with my DIY version, I think. The next designer home object is this vase, and it's a large ravine textured vase with lustre by Alex McCarthy for £2,200. It's just crazy. People must have a shitload of money. I'm not one of those people. And it says that this vase is one of a kind, textured attitude, colour combination, mixing metal oxides and a lustrous trickle of metallic paint. The design contrasts its raw surface with a polished twist. An exquisite combination of silver and blue hues amplifies its allures. Who writes this stuff? I couldn't take myself seriously. I do think it is a very nice vase, however, I do think I can DIY it for a lot cheaper than that. So obviously I wasn't going to make my vase from scratch because I don't have time for it and I wouldn't know where to start. I don't have a kiln. So I bought this lovely grey urn vase from Dunelm, which was very cheap, and it looks lovely. It looks really nice. And then I just took a couple of silver paints and just slathered it all over the top of this vase and let it drip down. Now that is some sexy paw painting if I've ever seen any. Drips. Ooh. Delicious. Money. Dripping. Ooh. I might have got a bit carried away with that, but felt right. So we have the original vase, which cost £2,200, and my DIY version, which cost £27. And I do think it looks really good. I think it looks really, really nice. It's not as shiny as what Alex's glaze over the top was, but it's still got the essence of what that vase does. Plus, mine has handles. Mine's got an extra feature to it. I'm quite pleased with it. I think I've done a decent job, even knowing it was incredibly easy to make. If I screwed this up, there would just be no hope for us. So the next designer home accessory that I'm gonna DIY is this oil diffuser, and it's called Les Exclusives Platinum Totem Diffuser. And it's £355 and a penny. Why is it that expensive for? It's an oil diffuser. It's just insane. It really is. It's ridiculous. It says heavily woody, the Les Exclusives Platinum Totem scent combines amber and musky scents. Alternative thinking, signature scent, slick edition. It's got Mediterranean cistus flower. Maybe that's why it's so expensive. Maybe that's a very luxurious ingredient. I don't know. I don't have any of that because this is DIY and I want it to be cheap. Okay, so I've never made an oil diffuser before, but I have looked it up and it doesn't look too difficult. But I bought myself a little glass oil diffuser jar. It's a very similar shape to what they have, so I'm already off to a good start. I even bought the exact same black sticks that they have. And all an oil diffuser is, according to the internet, is this glycol stuff, and then this stuff, I can't remember what this was. Let me check. I can't find the instructions that I looked at in the first place, so I'm not sure what I'm doing. So this stuff is a perfumer's alcohol base, and I think that thins this out so that it can travel up the reed. I could be completely wrong about this, I'm not sure. Shall I measure anything out? Nah, I'll be fine. I'm gonna put it in a jug actually, one sec. Okay, so I've got my jug. It's still got a bit of gravy residue inside of it, but that's okay. It'll just add to the texture. So we want some of this. And then we want a little bit of this. And then I think it's just scent. And I'm limited for scents because I didn't buy any specifically for this. So I'm gonna go for a lemon, a sweet orange, lemongrass, and I'll put a bit of rosemary in as well. Why not? The studio's gonna smell lovely after this. Just give it a mix. Let's have a little smell. Oh, I wish I hadn't put that rosemary in. Right, and then we just pour it into here, and then we should have our oil diffuser. I don't want to fill it too much, because I will knock it over. Did it say it had 15 reeds? I want to be as accurate as I possibly can. 14 reeds, not 15. Eek, I'm being too generous. Okay, so we have the original designer oil diffuser for £355 and 1 pence. And we have my DIY oil diffuser for £19 and 20 pence. And strangely enough, it does look a little bit murky. But, like, it's an oil diffuser. It'll travel up, it'll do its job. It'll be fine. It smells quite nice, actually. It smells very orangey. So yeah, not bad, and there's absolutely no way, even if I did have the money, I would ever spend £355 and a penny on an oil diffuser. It just wouldn't happen. It's ridiculous. Now moving on to the final designer home accessory, and it's the most expensive one. It's the Robin mirror for £18,440. Like, that is absolutely insane. If you have that amount of money to spend on a mirror, I just really hope you're giving a lot of your money away to like charities and good causes, because that is absolutely just mind-blowing. It really is. I think even if I had the money to spend on something like that, I wouldn't, because it would make me feel physically sick. Like 18 and a half grand could buy you so much. It could furnish a full home. But anyway, my DIY version is going to be so much better than this. It's definitely going to be cheaper. It has to be. 18 grand would bankrupt us. So for my DIY version, I just bought a lovely piece of MDF just to act as a base. I then took the little mirror that I'm going to be using for this mirror and just drew around it in pencil, just so I wouldn't hammer a nail where the mirror is actually supposed to go. And then once that was done, it was just time to hammer a shitload of nails into this MDF. Oh my god, are you kidding? Either this MDF is the strongest MDF I've ever bought in my life, or these nails are just weak as shit. I don't know, but it's doing my head in. I'm getting pissed off now. This is supposed to be so straightforward and it's annoying. Why do you keep flicking out for? And I clearly struggled quite a lot getting the nails into this MDF. So I would have liked to have had more nails, but I couldn't keep going. It was driving us mad. So mine does look a little bit sparse. But you know, we're just going to continue. It's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. So I just took some gold/brass paint and spray painted the entire thing. So now I have something that looks like this, and all I need to do is stick the mirror into the center, and hopefully I've measured correctly and I can fit this mirror in. Peel this protective film off, and I don't think this is a real mirror. I think it's just like a shiny bit of plastic, because it was very cheap. Right, let's stick this in. Oh yeah, it's gonna fit. Oh, is it? Yeah, it is. And voila, a lovely fancy nail mirror. So we have the original designer mirror coming in at £18,440. And we have my DIY version coming in at £34.70. That's a saving of £18,365.30. And yes, my version definitely doesn't look as nice as theirs. Like, at all. However, if I was to choose which one, based on price, I would 100% pick mine. Not because I like mine, but because £18,440 for a mirror is just obscene. It's absolutely crazy. If you have that amount of money and you're spending it on things like that, then please get in touch, because you clearly have too much money and I'll happily take some off you. I think that just about does it for today's video of me recreating designer home accessories and furniture for a much cheaper price. And let me know in the comments whether you prefer the designer ones or whether you prefer my DIY versions, based on price alone. Because yeah, some of my DIY versions don't particularly look fantastic. They look a bit shitty. However, based on price, I think there's no comparison. But if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you come across any other designer objects or fashion or anything like that, because that was a designer Gucci jacket that I remade a very long time ago. If you do come across anything like that, you want to see me try and recreate on a much cheaper price, then let me know and I'll do my best. I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!